Hi, everyone. It's Danielle Marie from the One Realty live here in Austin, Texas, here to give you your weekly update. Yes, it has been a busy couple of weeks here. We're getting through the holiday season, but what has happened in real estate? Historically, when we get into this holiday season from November all the way out to December, there's a lot of pauses that happen. But I really want you to understand what is happening in Austin and how is that going to affect you. So, first and foremost, listings are plummeting, meaning when we were in the middle of the summer, we had over 3,600 active listings here in Austin. That was like a record. That was back in June. We had over 3,600. Today in Austin, active listings, we're at 1,885 listings. That's down 161 from last week, but we have been seeing listings fall off the map continuously over the past couple of weeks. Now, it is normal. We do see a decrease in listings because it's the holiday season and people are putting their houses on hold. They're withdrawing it. Also, there's a lot of uncertainty. What is happening with the interest rates? What is happening? We just had an election. What other things are happening? So, first and foremost, we have seen a drastic reduction in the number of listings here in Austin. At 1885, our average list price is at 1.134 million. So down about 12,000 from last week. Early this summer, our median list price was right around 1.15. We're not seeing any major shifts on pricing, which is surprising. Our median home price here in Austin is $675,000. So that's substantial to some people. Now people ask, oh my gosh, affordability, can I buy a house? Different things like that. I will tell you, depending on where you're looking, there are houses that are in the low threes and twos that you can find here in Austin. And then we can also go to our high end at 2.26 million. So they are everywhere. Sometimes they're not online. Sometimes they are private listings. There's a lot of private listings, especially when you get into the higher echelon of prices. That is because they don't want those listings, number one, sitting there on the market, especially this time of year when there's not a lot of buyers, as well as sometimes those sellers are just looking to see kind of testing prices, testing to see what's going on. So if you're looking for I say 1.5, 2 million plus house, you might not find it online. Just message me and I can kind of help you out, show you there. So with that being said, our days on market have been climbing honestly since about May. Our days on market have been climbing. Right now, we're at 108 is our average, and our median's 84. Now, that is actually the first week we've seen a decrease. So we went down by 3 for our average, 1 for our median. You think, okay, that's not a big deal. Other thing that's interesting is the number of active listings that have had a price reduction. So we got all the way up to about 56.7%, 56 point something. So right between 56 and 57% was out of all the listings that were being listed. And remember, we were up at one point, we were like 2,600 listings is when I was tracking, started tracking these numbers. And then we were between about 56% of the listings were having price reductions. This week, we're at 52.4% of the active listings that are having a price reduction. What does this mean? Well, this could mean a couple things. Number one, we're getting some older houses are getting taken off the market. So those houses that have had price reductions are dropping off. The other thing is that sellers have come to the point where they're letting the houses sit. And I can tell you a lot of sellers you're probably not going to see a lot of price reductions right now because typically we see buyers start to come back just the beginning of January. They start to really get heavy in like March, April, but it's kind of sellers feeling it out, seeing what's going on. So just keep that in mind. We're not seeing a ton of listings with price reductions being added. We're kind of seeing that go down. As far as the houses that are under contract. Now, we talk about the number of listings falling. So we're also talking about our under contract falling. That's normal this time of year. Our under contract, we fell by 47 homes this past week. We're down to 622. A lot of that's also because we had homes close out, but it was the big holiday week across every different spectrum. So Hanukkah and Christmas and just a big holiday week this past week, the New Year's, everything's going on. And so we saw a reduction in the number of houses that went pending. We only saw 66 houses total go pending from 24 to 30 December. Now, I'm very happy because I have one of those and I had a buyer get an amazing deal. Like we're talking hundreds of thousands off a list price because we went in for that kind of Christmas special. And just got actually another house under contract today. Very excited again. We are taking advantage of the fact that there's not a lot of buyers out there, but the ones that are, they're kind of winning in the market. So with that being said, for our under contract, our average price for our under contract is $814. Our median is $599. So yes, it's less than what is being listed. Historically, we're going to see those lower price homes are going to move a little bit quicker. And that's why the days on market for these homes, the average is 85, the median is 65. Now, both of those were an increase. But I think that's just we're kind of chomping into some of the older inventory that has been sitting. Now, of all the pending houses, and this is kind of interesting because normally the number of pendings that have had a price reduction, a lot of times they are actually lower than the number of active price reductions. So our houses that are active with a price reduction, we're at 52.4%. Our houses that are under contract pending with a price reduction, we're at 57.71%. We went up 3%. So people that were out there are really looking to get a good deal. Now, I would not be surprised when January numbers come out, because remember, January numbers are going to be the houses that went under contract in December, majority of them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a significant decrease in close price to original list price. And that is because people were looking to make deals right before the end of the year. Next on, then we're going to go to is we'll talk about the closed houses in the past 30 days. So in the past 30 days, we've closed 564 homes. If we compare that to last week's announcement, last week we went up by 37 homes. So we closed more homes. Once again, it was end of year. So when we were doing this last week, we still had a couple days, about a week left, not even a week left of active market days here to close out. So all of my home builders, all the people, especially tax season, they're trying to get one last thing in before the end of the year. Maybe they wanted the sale of the house and the final sale to be on their taxes for 2024, so they made a deal. It could be out there. So with that being said, we had 564 that closed. The average price, and this is where it gets it, the average price is $829,000, and the median was $610. So other thing that I'm just going to point into, I'm going to go straight to talking about December's numbers versus the past 30 days, because it's also today. Some of them will pop up from today, but if we just talk about December as a whole, and that's really I want to focus on because that's 31 days, we had 594 homes that closed in December of 24. We beat. Now, granted, we're still only the first day, business day back in the new year, and we're at 594. I'm going to say that when we get the final numbers for December, which will probably be in about a week and a half, is kind of where by that time all the builders have reported. The other ones that are maybe the agents on vacation just never reported their final sale. That's all going to come through. So we're going to hit over 600, which is big, because last year we only did 573 homes. So we're over, it's like a 3.5% increase from last year, which is really, really good. And so I'll do a whole spiel on December 24 compared to December 23 in a little bit, but I want to give you a little bit of an insight right now, as well as, so we closed more houses in December of 24 than we have in December of 23. And it's a substantial amount when you look at in comparison where our market's been going. Also our prices. So our average close price in 23 was $788,000. So that was 23. In 24 this year, right now we're at 836. So if you're listening to all those doomsday, we call it doom porn when we're in real estate, and you hear everyone saying, oh my gosh, Austin's market, it's kind of it's going down. Well, there's a lot more that you have to look at. We're not just talking about the Austin real estate market. They're talking about the Austin metro. So that includes all the cities down to San Marcos, all the cities up to like the Gerald, Georgetown area. It's a huge area, and they're not apples to apples. So I'm looking specifically at Austin single family homes in the city of Austin. Now, I go out to Lakeway, I go out to Bee Cave, I go out all these different areas outside of just Austin. But for here, I want to give you the general overview data. Okay, with that being said, so we talked about the sales price. We're up. If we compare it to last year, our average close price is up $48,000 for our average. For our median, we're only up $15,000. So we went from 600 to 615, but it's still an increase. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you're thinking you've seen the floor, the basement of the Austin real estate market, I don't want to necessarily say this is the 1 month you'll see it. I have a feeling that maybe we might drop down in January for people getting deals, but it's going to be pretty close. Would not be surprised if we start seeing an increase over the coming weeks of the pending prices, especially the fact that our inventory is going down. So we talk about supply and demand, and that's going to really push what's happening in our market. Our supply has gone down. What is happening to demand? Well, I also just recently got two clients under contract in this past week. I have two listings that are out there too that are people have begun to see. I had showings today, I had showings yesterday. So there's something brewing, and I'm seeing it. I'm also seeing it in the agent forums. People are also talking about that. So final thing that I'm going to hit on, close price to original list price. So we look at what did it close at compared to what it was originally listed at. This week, we're at 92.24 was our average. That is an increase, and it's not a big increase, but it's an increase of 0.4, so almost a 0.5%. It increased week over week. So that's just kind of another thing, is that we're kind of going back up on our close price to original list price. Normally, we kind of dive down. January is typically when I'd say what are our bottom. So we'll see if we go and we bottom out in the next couple of days. What I can say is that to see that increase, we've had 2 weeks of increases of close price to original list price. People are closing up a little bit higher. Our median stayed the same. So our median has stayed at 94%. If we look at close price to just list price, our median also stayed the same at 97%. Now, if you're writing an offer, please don't just use those numbers as your offer. You need to have your agent. Your agent should be reaching in, should be looking at houses that are like plus or minus 20% of the square footage, maybe within 1 mile, similar size, similar floor plans, but you have to have comparable properties or properties that are worthy. So especially when you get into the luxury, so sometimes they're not going to have a comparable property, but we're going to have a significant property that we can look at, that we can kind of make some comparisons with. And you really want to do that, especially when you start putting in offers, because that's really going to help you determine what is going on in the market, what is acceptable. I can tell you specific places in Austin. I can tell you a little batch, like if we're going in the downtown area for an Allendale, Clarksville, Tarrytown, Pemberton Heights, those areas, they tend to close out a little bit closer to asking. If they're newer on the market, if they've been on the market a long time, it's going to change depending on where you are. Like you want opportunities. East Austin right now. East Austin, we are saturated with supply. There's some areas that can get really, really good deals depending on what you're looking for. So with that, I have talked a lot. I know everyone is tuning in, and I really appreciate it. So if you would do me a favor, if you would save this so that you can reference it, it also helps me get seen in the algorithm. Also, feel free to repost this and share this so that other people can see it. If you have any questions and you're on there, feel free to hop into the chat right now. So let me know where you're watching from. It's kind of crazy. I didn't even look at my counter, and I'm seeing 141 people out there watching me, which is crazy. Little Danielle Fountain from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas. If you follow me, I take a data-driven all-in-one approach to real estate. We don't just talk, hey, here's a pretty house. We're going to talk about the numbers behind it, and we're going to negotiate on your behalf. If you are the buyer or if you're the seller, we're going to go depending on what way we're looking at what your house is. If you are looking to sell your house in Austin, we need to make you a plan, and we can talk about, depending on your neighborhood, what the normal as far as the absorption rate in the neighborhood, what time of year is best to list it. If you're going to list it, one of my favorite quotes is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So that comes into as far as, are we doing any updates to your house? Are we staging your house? Are professional photos, drones, everything? Having your house ready in 1 week can be very stressful for everyone. So why not plan it 3 to 4 months out in advance? But with that, thank you so much for joining me today. The biggest takeaway is the number of listings here in Austin has started to plummet. We've seen it drop down from the summer when we were at high around over 3,600. Now we're at 1,885. What does that mean? Well, that means that also if there's a new listing that comes on the market, chances are other people are watching. So if a new house comes on the market, most people have not seen it, and you're probably going to get into, I do expect to see a little bit more activity from the new listings that come on pretty quickly. So with that, feel free to leave a comment below, like, share this, save this, because it'll help other people see me and give me a follow. With that, have a wonderful day, and I hope you have an amazing new year.